This video will be covering pot return. Okay, let's take a look at pot return. Wants to know who I am, and there are two different ways of returning a pot. One is you can just look up the invoice. Now to look up the invoice, you need to know, number one is who the customer is, or if you have an invoice number. Two convenient ways of finding an invoice. Let's do that first. First it'll ask me what date was this thing purchased. Now you can click the calendar, and if the person says, well, did it on Monday, then you'd click on Monday. If they said the 7th, I'm just go the 7th here, and now it's going to list every single invoice going backwards. This is the newest one. Obviously this is the date and this is the time. So let's just say Larry, or this cash customer. Now there again, we didn't give a name on this one, so it just says cash sale. It might not have paid by cash, but that's what it says. Okay, let's click Larry, and here's the items that Larry bought on that invoice. Now what's he returning? Maybe he wants to return this pot here, so I'd click on the pot, and there's only one, so why is the reason he's returning it? If he's returning it because it's the wrong pot or he just doesn't need it, then you would click this here. That'll put it right back into inventory and you can sell it to somebody else. If it's defective, then you'd want to click defective. That also creates a report that lets you know how many pots that you have in defective, so you can run that report and send that back to whoever you bought it from. So let's just hit the enter key. Alright, what are the pots that now? The ones that we're returning are dark blue. Let's say he's also going to return this pot right here. And there's only one of those, so we're going to do that. And now let's return some of these spark plugs. Now he bought 20, maybe he didn't really need to use all 20. Let's say he's just returning 10 of those. Same reason. Okay, so he's returning these 3 pots. Let's just hit F12 here. And now he paid by credit card. So it's asking me, do we want to just reverse his credit card? We don't have to. We could actually give him cash out of the drawer. We could write him a check, or we could just give him a credit, so that maybe he wants to buy something else. But let's just return it using the same credit card that he did. Now, this screen is the last screen you're going to see. It's just recapping what's going on here. Basically, it's saying we're going to charge you $8.29 as a restocking fee. In the system, there's what we call a default restocking fee. I have mine set for 15%. You may have yours set for whatever you feel is necessary. I can override that. Maybe Larry's a good customer, and I'm going to override it and not charge him any restocking fee. So I'm going to give him, or I'm going to reverse his credit card for the $55. Now this is something that may be important. You may want to put down, why is he returning? It's good to print out on the invoice, and it's good to keep track. Maybe you have one particular pots person that's always giving people the wrong pots. Well, that's a problem you want to solve. Okay, we're all done here. I'm just going to say finalize this. It's going to now ring out my credit card, reverse it, and we're all done. The invoice is printed, the pots are put back in inventory, and his credit card has been reversed. Let's do a pot return in another different way. Let's suppose that we're just going to key in a pot number. Maybe we don't know exactly when he bought it. So in this case, we type in a pot number. It's going to come up and say, okay, that's a spark plug, that's the pot. If that's the right pot, then we're going to say 2 options here. We can search and it'll list every single invoice that pot was sold on. Or we can do don't check for sale. Now I'm going to tell you in a few minutes why you'd want to use that. But first, let's check for sale. This is going to list every single person who sold that to. Now notice some of these things say Kyle. What that means is I didn't put a customer's name on that. It also lists every single person that bought this particular pot. This is a good feature to use when somebody doesn't really remember when they bought it. They don't remember the date. Maybe you didn't put a name on the invoice. So this is just telling me everybody that bought it. Now Larry Bird, obviously he bought some. Now he's already returned this one. He bought 20. We've already given him 10 back. So it knows that already. So now we can click on who the customer is that's returning this. Now maybe this cash customer is returning some of these right here. So I'm going to click this right here. And now in this case, it's basically saying, okay, he paid cash for it. What do you want to do? Well, I'm going to give him his money back. So I'm just going to say, yeah, we're going to give you the cash. And he bought 10. How many is he returning? He's returning 5. It's the same question. What's the reason? Okay, this is the total amount of the refund. It's going to be $14.75 based on what he paid, $2.95. Now, maybe he's also returning another pot. I can type in any pot I want. Or maybe he bought the same pot on another invoice. Well, there again, keep in mind, it not only lists every single person that bought that pot, but the different prices that they paid for it. This person paid $1.56. This person paid list price, $2.95. This person over here paid $2.50. So it'll tell you exactly who bought the pot, number one, how much they paid for it, and number two, how they paid for it. 3 important questions. So now when somebody's returning a pot, you know exactly what you charged them for that pot. Now maybe this customer is also returning a pot over here. He bought one, I'm going to return one. Same thing. Okay, now we're returning these 2 pots on 2 different sales. When we're done, we're going to hit the escape key. Now it's summarizing what we're doing here. In this case, I'm going to keep the $2.84 restocking fee on there. And I'm just going to say, let's finalize it, or maybe I want to put a note why he's returning them. Now my invoice is printed, and I would have taken the cash out of the register and handed it to the customer. Now let's go in there one more time. Let's go in and do the same thing by pot number. And I'm going to we'll type in the same pot. But this time I'm going to say don't check for sale. Now why would I not want to check for a sale? Well, you might have just started using the software just this week. Somebody's returning a pot that they bought 3 weeks ago. The system has no idea you sold this customer the pot. It doesn't have that invoice in here. You sold this pot to the customer prior of you using the system. And that's going to happen when you just start using the software. Obviously, once you start using the software, anytime somebody returns a pot, you're going to look it up by invoice, or you're going to look it up by the pot number. You're going to know, there again, 3 important questions immediately. Yes, you bought it from me. Number 2, this is what I charged you for it. Number 3, this is how you paid for it. So, let's say don't check for sale. It doesn't know who the customer is, obviously, because we're not checking. If that customer happens to be in my database, I would type in the customer number, or I would do a lookup. In this case, he's not in my database. I'm just going to hit the enter key. It doesn't know who the customer is, doesn't know how he paid. It's just, all right, there's not going to be a name on this. This doesn't mean that you're going to have a cash refund. This is where you're going to say, okay, how are you going to refund this? Maybe you're going to give him cash. Maybe you're going to give him a credit so he can buy something else. Let's just assume we're going to give him cash. And it doesn't know how many he bought. It just knows the list price is $2.95. I don't know how many he bought. Maybe he's bringing back 5. If that's the case, that's the total amount. And there again, I can do this for any particular pot. If I'm done, same thing here. I'm going to charge him a restocking fee. I'm going to print the invoice, take the money out of the cash register. Now let's just do one more thing. What about somebody who wants to return a pot and buy something else, or we're just going to give them a credit, we're not going to give them their money back? All right, if that's the case, we're going to do pot return. And we'll do this one right here. Let's type in this pot number again, and we're going to list everybody in there again. Here's the different prices people paid, and let's just say we've got Larry here, and he paid by credit card. But you know what? I'm not going to give him his money back. I am going to give him a credit that he can use now, or he can use later. So we're going to click OK. And it's saying, okay, how many are we returning here? He originally bought 30, and now he's got 10 more. I'm going to say he's returning the 10. That's the amount. And there again, we can pick more pots from different invoices. I'm going to say, okay, we're all done. And this time we're going to charge him a $2.50 restocking fee. And now it comes up with my $14 credit. Now, if he wants to buy additional pots, I can put the pots on the invoice and sell him the pots with his $14 credit applied. If not, and he says, well, I don't really have anything to buy now, but I may next week, I can save this credit. It does get saved as a work in progress. We're holding on to this money because he's going to be using it at some point in time in the future. And now that's saved as a work in progress. Okay. That's a quick scenario of how you would return pots.